Hey everybody, my name's Amir, as you guys all know. I'm actually here with mass communications professor Gregorio Grosso from the University of Bologna in Italy. And he was kind enough to take time out of his busy schedule to come here and answer some key important questions about the role that digitization is now playing in Italy and how this has altered the contemporary media landscape there, along with how social media has tied in to the way in which the news structure has in fact changed and will continue to change. So without further ado, Gregorio, please introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, I am the Mass Communications Professor Gregorio Grosso from the University of Bologna in Italy. Thank you for having me.
Gregorio, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been real busy this week, but we appreciate you coming down here. So, without further ado, we're going to ask you. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and
Okay.
my first question to you is: how has digitization affected news media in your country?
Yes, good question. In this field, it is crucial to distinguish the supply side from the demand side. Evaluating the data and stats available on the latter, it's hard to affirm that Italians are perceiving the impacts of digitization on their daily consumption of news. So they for sure are gradually changing their habits, but at the same time, they are still linked, or better yet, they recognize quality news like the ones from legacy and well-established media. The effect, however, is more impressive on the provision side in 4 key ways. First, proliferation of news websites, in particular at the local level, where the information was jeopardized by the crisis and now is nourished from thousands of small newsrooms in all of Italy. Second, the availability to assess and compare different sources. Third, the introduction of accountability and transparency practices that 10 years ago barely existed. For example, journalists can now comment on their own articles via social media, and so can readers seeking answers from practitioners. Fourth, in terms of media criticism, websites can now list the mistakes of legacy media and leave informed comments via social media. The media criticism has never been established in Italy, and now it is informally very well established. Of course, every single point that I mentioned may raise some criticism, but it is overall improvement of the media and news system due to the digitization.
Wow, very nice. So, there seems to be a lot of parallels there with how we operate in the US and how social media has changed our media landscape.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I'm going to ask you, are there any social media uprisings in particular in your country?
Oh, there are in fact some because just like in most other democratic countries, social media is used in order to organize and to solicit the political participation at various levels, from signing a petition to participating in some demonstrations. As I mentioned, social media has also become a great site for media criticism and analysis.
So, with that being said, where do you think the future of journalism is headed in your country?
It's difficult to say, speaking in terms of the future of journalism, when signs of future, so to speak, are everywhere. Recently, less than 1 month ago, the RCS, Corriere della Sera's publisher, had launched a website called YourReporter.it, the most important citizen journalism world website. Gonale, another well-established newspaper, is making crowdfunding pay and send independent journalists to cover war zones like Kiev. I can guess that Italian journalism will need a couple of generations to complete a definitive turnover where all journalists will be able to exploit every single technology and they will be able to cut down borders in their daily practices. I mean, Italy has still journalists who work just for the paper, others just for the TV, others just for the web. Uh, in a couple of generations, every single journalist will be able to use cameras, write an article, make photos, copy and edit videos. Anyways, the future of journalism in Italy, just like anywhere else, will be able to mix and balance the accurate editorial work, from the gatekeeping role to the right and duty of composing the agenda, with the use of alternative sources, of course, citizens, but also small associations and organizations that use the web and are very well informed about every single issue or region. At the same time, this journalism will still be in the hands of some well-established and legacy media organizations because that's where the power and the money lies.
Well, that is very true. Much like the U.S., these established legacy media organizations do in fact hold the power, and they do in fact have the monetary funds to ensure that whatever they publish will in fact be the first to get out to the public. So with that being said, what is the greatest obstacle journalists face today in your country?
Let's see. Several surveys since the 1980s have stated that two great obstacles for journalists are economic and political pressures. I think they are also education, lack of professionalism, and uncertainty of codes of ethics. All these negative trends are not directly created by digitization, but as a result of digitization.
So, the underlying question is to you today, given that the industry has changed as much as it has, and now staffs are shrinking, budgets are shrinking. I mean, with all these difficulties and uncertainties and pressures, externally and internally, would you, in particular, become a journalist today?
Yes, now more than ever, actually. Whoever wants to be a journalist has so many different difficult, but maybe no more difficult than in the past, ways to realize his or her aspiration. If becoming journalist means making and distributing news and making some profit to survive, well, this is the time to try. A young journalist must be entrepreneurial. He or she has to study and use new technology and platforms and learn to be innovative. They can now make low-cost journalism at a local level, create their own website, or even offer freelance innovation output to the legacy media. If becoming a journalist means having a permanent job with some safe newsroom, well, then Italy is not the right place.
Well, Professor, thank you very much for all of your insightful answers and information and giving us a deep perspective into the media landscape in Italy today and what it holds, what digitization holds for the current present time and for the future in Italy.
So, thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you. And take care, Professor, and we'll keep in touch soon, and I'll make sure I'll send you a link to the finished product.
Good. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you.